Hi everyone, so I chose to use Go Formative as my Web 2.0 for this discussion post. Go Formative is really easy to use. It's a simple free website that does have some premium options, but what I'm about to show you is something I created that's just using the free version. So I teach math at a middle school level, and this was just a quick warm-up that I created. I was going to give it today, but we have a snow day. And so it's just on transformations on quadratic graphs. And so it's really easy to create. Again, you just go to goformative.com. You can sign in using any Google account that you might have. And this is from a teacher's perspective. So once you're on here, you can give your formative a title, you can change the color, you can add a picture if you'd like to, all of which will appear up here in this top bar. Once you do that, you just have the option of adding any question type that you want, and I added an extra picture at the top, just showing the students what vertex form looks like, so when they write their equations, this is exactly what we're talking about. So here's our first question. These are all of the question types that you have an option of choosing from. An essay, which is like a longer open response kind of choice, multiple choice, multiple selection, kind of like a check all that apply, short answer, show your work, which is phenomenal for math, and I have an example of that later below in the questions. And then this one is just a true or false. So the question says the h value determines how the graph shifts up or down, true or false, and then you can select the correct answer right here. You can also adjust the point value, copy the question type, which I did for these three because they were all true or false, or totally delete the question if you're not satisfied with it. You also have the option to reorder your questions, so that's kind of cool, really easy to do. And so here are a couple more true or false questions. And then down here, I did a multiple choice. So again, this was a little tricky to do with math. You have to, in order to add an equation specifically with an exponent, you have to come over here, hit this plus button, and then add a math block. And just to show you, anytime you see one of these little stars, like here you have the option of adding an emoji, and here you have the option of randomizing the order, those are strictly Premier options in the sense that you have to buy them. So again, this is just the free version, and I do not have the premium version. So just again, another multiple choice question. This is an essay. I could honestly probably make this a short answer type question. But I just want the students to write the equation in vertex form from this parabola pictured. And so again, this is where it kind of gets tricky for math because technically right here, this should be an exponent, but you don't have the option to add exponents. So in my directions, I just said use the caret 2 for the exponent. The other thing that you need to be tricky about, especially if you're using this for math, is let's say, oh, actually, I need to fix that. My mistake. There should be a negative sign on the outside here. So when you're using this for math, for instance, if a student entered, they didn't put the space between the equal sign and the negative sign or anything of that sort, it will automatically mark it as incorrect because it's not identical to this correct response. So you could go ahead and put in multiple correct answers of this format without the space, with the space, whatever you want. Or what I just do is I would go through and individually mark them as correct or not. So that's just one thing to look out for. Show your response is fantastic if you want the students to draw something. In this question, I'm asking the students to draw this equation on the coordinate grid. So if you look here, you can edit the background to put this coordinate grid on here. I just uploaded a quick picture. You could put any image you want that you have saved on your computer on there, and then the students will simply, if they have a tablet, use their finger to draw on here, or use the keypad on any computer, Chromebook, anything of that sort to draw on this when they get the question. So those are my questions, and then to send it to the students, you can hit assign up here. You can assign it to a Google Classroom, or you can just do guest students. And so the way that this works is if you don't have a Google Classroom, what you can do is you can hit guest students. And then actually right here, my apologies. So you can display this on the board, or you can post a direct link on any sort of class website that you have. Again, you can do a Google Classroom, or you can embed it. So for instance, you can have the students go to goformative.com/join and enter this code. And just to give you a quick visual on what that looks like, it would look like this. I forgot the code, APZJZM. Oh, well, it's not going to let you see what it looks like because I'm already signed in. But this is a preview of the questions from the student's perspective. And then just to show you the show your work, again, this screen pops up and it's a little bit more challenging to do on a computer as opposed to a tablet, but if you're doing it on a tablet, or I'm sorry, on a computer, you can just hold down and do whatever you want. Just to show you, hit done. And then again, so this is cool too. This has the option of showing you what it would look like from a phone, from a tablet, and from a computer. So it kind of gives you the different visuals of what it would look like, which I think is really cool. So once your students have submitted their answers, you can actually go right here to submit answers. And I went ahead and did it as like a demo just to show you of what it would look like. So you can hide the names if you don't want the students to, if you want to display the results but you don't want the students to see their names. You can export them, you can sort it, and I think you can sort it by name, or you can sort it by the point level. You can look at it question by question. You can look at it by totals. I think this, so see for example this one, describe the transformation. I'd have to look into why that is a 0. And then so this is the show your work. So this is what it should look like. So I would give the student 100%. The great thing is you can have this sliding toolbar. So you could give them partial percent if you would like to. And then, so you can add feedback at the bottom. So this was really easy to use. I would, again, like I said, I would give this as a graded warm-up today, but we have a snow day. And it was not difficult to use whatsoever. I think it's slightly more difficult for math because they have so many formulas that they need to enter. I would highly recommend this to any teacher who wants to create any sort of exit ticket or warm-up. You could do a whole quiz on here. The only thing that I don't know is if a student starts this, like let's say you give it at the last 5 minutes of class, if they start it but they don't finish it, I don't know necessarily that it saves their work. So that's something I would definitely look into before assigning it if you were giving it as a exit ticket or as an assessment in general. And yeah, I think it's really easy to use, like I've said probably multiple times by now. I think the visuals here are great. I like the fact that you can hide the names because if you want to display the results to the students but you don't want to necessarily give the students' names away and their scores, I like the fact that you can hide it. I like the fact that you can export it into a PDF or Excel. And I would highly recommend using this in my classroom. I'm going to try and give this to them potentially tomorrow if we have school. I don't know, Maryland is kind of in a blizzard at the current state. But yeah, it was very easy to use, very user-friendly. I think the students won't have any issues. The only issue I can see, again, is typing in answers like this, and then again showing their work down here. But again, if you have tablets, I think this would be a lot easier to use, but still doable with a Chromebook, which is what we have. So that's all, and this is goformative.com.